Alright, it's time to stop screwing around. It's time to get to this guitar. A 2015 US standard Strat. Yeah, buddy. Look at that. It's like cream on white. It's so gorgeous. And it plays great. Wow. It needs a bit of setup work. But it sounds fantastic. Through the AC30, oh my goodness. Sounds fantastic. But, yeah. You know Richard, he wants a little bit of shielding. And he's gonna get pissed off if I don't get to this guitar soon. It's been sitting around here for a few days and all I've done is play it. But I guess you get to do that when you don't charge people money for repairs and they're your friends. But it's noteworthy to point out. Just thought I'd share this, the case. I've always found the cases that you get from Fender are really high quality, but this is no exception. Like for 2015, this is a really nice looking case. You always get a really, really plush looking, nice looking case with Fender. You know, and all the little things they give you, nice little strap, and the polishing cloth, and the cable, and a few other little bits that they give you. It's always a nice little, if you like the little extras in the case that comes with a nice guitar, Fender always does a good job of. I really like. It's a nice case. Very, like, real. Even these like small things like just the action on those latches. It's really nice. It looks really well put together. All really high quality, nice feeling materials. Like somebody thought about the way they made this case. Even like the way it opens and closes is really. It's really nice and positive. I like this kind of stuff. I like stuff that's sort of precision made, well made, and feels good and behaves well. Anyway, that's enough about the case. Let's have a look at this guitar. This is a bitchin' guitar. I miss having a Strat when I see guitars like this, but I've had to finally admit I'm really more of a Gibson guy, and in particular I'm more of an SG guy, so it's time for me to stop wasting so much money on guitars that I won't actually play. But it would be nice to have one of these just sitting around here if I had all the money in the world. I'll tell you that. I would absolutely own a couple, 3 of these in various colors if I had more money than I knew what to do with. But it's in really good shape. Like the frets are in really good shape, like everything. It's brand new. Apparently this was bought by a learning beginning guitar player as his very first guitar. Like these go for $1,800 brand new now. Canadian, they're not cheap. And this is just your standard Strat. Like when my youngest daughter was born, I bought a brand new American standard Strat in Sunburst, brand spanking new with a nice case for 950 Canadian. So in 6 years, they have nearly doubled in price. Like, well, no, they have doubled in price. Because that used to be able to buy a standard Strat for around $1,000. And now, like, holy man. Yeah, I remember I paid $950 in Vancouver at, I want to say Sam's? Christ, I can't remember any of the names of the shops up there. But, yeah. So these aren't cheap. Anyway, Richard, I think, paid $1,100 used for it, so I guess that's a good deal, considering what they go for used. But it's like, it's pristine. Right, this might as well have been bought from the store. So, like, when I think about buying guitars, I never think about buying brand new. Never, never, never. Not anymore, anyway. I've bought so many brand new guitars, I don't even want to think about all the money I've spent on brand new guitars. because it's stupid. But yeah, like pristine, brand new. It's beautiful. And the necks now have this really sort of satiny finish. Oh, feels wonderful. Right, like everything else is really glossy, but the neck has this really nice sort of satiny, smooth. It just feels superb. They've really refined these. Quite a lot, I would say. Well, I've seen many dozens upon dozens upon dozens of Strats, but the American ones now are really well refined. Look, if you look at the headstock, you see how shiny that is? And even the fingerboard. But then if you come around the backside, you see, that's all really nice satin. Like somebody thought about that, right? That's fantastic. Anyway, let's stop gushing about it and open it up, because that's why we're here. To open her up, we need to, I think there's 11s on there. You know, it's funny, if you will follow me, you know that I like my light gauge strings, but I've been playing this with 11s, it doesn't feel too bad. Not at all. But it's a bit ill set up at the moment. Just a few things that we need to clean up. Somebody's tried to adjust the height just by adjusting one of those, and those need to go up evenly. So there's a few little knick-knack paddywhacks that we can quickly fix up, but this is that's the real big pain in the dick. That's why I've been avoiding doing this guitar, because he wants it shielded. But anyway, let's do that. Alright, now I've done enough shielding to know that if you do it with all this stuff in the way, it's a real pain in the dick. So as much as I hate to do it, well, I don't really hate to do it, but my preference would be not to do it. I'm going to disconnect both of these ground leads here and the output. And then I'll just reconnect those later so that they're not in our way. So I'm just going to see if I can heat this up enough to... Yes, I know I need a new soldering tip. Alright, well, I don't know why fucking that solder wouldn't come out. The output hot wire here melted in seconds, but this fucking bullshit, so I'm just trying to clean away some of the old solder to... This isn't totally necessary, although it'll look cleaner. Alright. Now that we've wrestled the pickguard off, alright, let's get that out of there. Huh! I wonder if this body was repainted at the factory. Look at that. See, I usually peel these up if I can, like all these little stickers. Usually like to try to preserve those, and then I just put them back where they were, but over top of the shielding. And so if you're careful, you usually pull these off. But this is the first time I think I've ever seen this. Does this mean... Do we have a factory repainted guitar? So let's see here. Let's see if we can make sense of their body as STR UP solid SLD clear OWT dry. Body as STARALD this time. So that's probably alder body. SLD OWT urethane mill. I wonder if this guitar has been repainted. It's black underneath. wonder if it was a factory repaint. Yeah, you see this code is 005-6229-605, and that was the top one. And this is 005-629-905. So I wonder what the difference is. I wonder why. I've never seen that. I've never pulled up one plate and then another. We should take the neck off. We should take the neck off and see what the dates are. Maybe this is a leftover body, eh? We should take the neck off and see what Fender is up to. All right. So I've got everything out. And I've done this enough times to know that the inside cavities of every friggin' Strat, none of this gets finished. So there's all these little ridges and high spots and little sharp little bits of lacquer, and see if you rub your finger in there, that's just all sanding dust that never gets cleaned out. So when you try to put your your shielding tape down, it's all bumpy, doesn't stick well, so I just usually bite the bullet and go in and give the inner cavity a bit of a sand, just to knock down all these really high spots and sharp edges, of which there are a lot. So I'll put down my pepperoni. I'll get to that. And the purpose of doing this is just to knock down all these little high spots. Not trying to sand this smooth like a baby's butt. I'm just trying to keep all those little sharp bits from poking through the shielding and keeping it from adhering to the surface, which is that's the primary reason I do this. Because if this is a bit smoother, it sticks better. But since some of those high spots can be really high, you can keep quite a large chunk from actually sitting flat. And I've had little bits of shielding just tear and won't stick, and so trust me, if you're gonna do this, save yourself the aggravation and spend a couple minutes just sanding away some of these high spots in the inner cavity. You will thank me for that bit of advice, I promise you. Alright, as usual, I've got some leftover shielding from another one we did. So I'm just going to go ahead and start filling the cavity. find if I take a little bit of time to burnish down the pieces that they stick better. I just didn't film that whole thing, just did all that. Doing this is useless unless it's connected to this side and grounded. So, we need to ground it. So, I'm not going to make this overly complicated. Alright, so there's my little wire. I just snipped it a little long so that I could poke it in and out of the hole and see what pokes out on the other side. And see about how long I have to, because the hole goes down at an angle, so it's not really like you can measure it. Just sort of get it close and then, okay, that's gonna work. Shits and giggles, we'll just put a bit of tape here. Just so we don't mess up the finish on the guitar, cause I wouldn't want that. And I'm gonna be going in here with a hot soldering iron. And tape is cheap, so let's just do that. Okay, let's hope our friggin' piece of crap soldering iron is warmed up. Let's pull a little bit of solder on both those ends. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff you ordered right there. Got a little nubby of solder on that end there that I can just hopefully pinch right down into that cavity right in the frame. See if I can keep my hands out of the shot. What do you think? Alright, so I can hold it steady with the other end and see if I can solder this as awkwardly as possible. Did that work? That worked. I dare say that worked. Choo-choo McGee. Okay, so now we'll come around the nutter side. Alright, can we see the operation there? Can you see it? Can I do it and film it without putting my hands in the way? What do you think? I don't know. Can he do it? Let's see. Can he do it? Probably not. Because he's a big, dumb goof. Did that work? Just gonna give her the Gundy here. Oh baby, that worked like a charm. Oh, look at that. It's like a pro did it or something. Like a pro did it or something. I like this. I like the look of that. Okay? Look at that. Little bead. Okay? Look at that little stealthy little bead. That one not so much. Oh, actually that one's not too bad. Just dirty. I'll just snip away that remaining bit. And off we go. And I'll just cover the connection with a little bit of that for a little bit more mechanical grip. A little square to go over the area there. Just for shits and giggles. It probably doesn't need it. Probably doesn't need it, but it makes me feel better knowing it's there. Anything that's got curves is sexy. Like this Strat. Okay, so there we go. No reason to do that other than just a little added mechanical grip. Just a little insurance. Okay, so because the body gets grounded to the pot, the volume pot, it grounds this shielding. Okay, so this becomes our, so let's just see if we've got continuity. And frig yeah we do, baby. This side's connected to that side, so it's going to work. And as long as this is making a connection to the output jack, it doesn't need to be all the way around. It just looks nicer, but as long as it's making a connection to this, then this becomes its metal top. Okay, so I'm just going to twist up these wires, feed them back through, because they're not really twisted from the factory, but you know, good wiring practices suggest that you'll have less interference. What I was friggin' looking for. Yeah, there we go. Just want a little smidgy of this. Not a lot. Just a little bit at one end. So that'll be like, basically just like a little, that'll be just like a little piece of tape, except not a piece of tape. Just got a little bit of that shrink wrap there, a little bit at that end, so that when we pass through the wire, it's still got a bit of flexibility for us, because if you put too much of that shrink wrap on, it just becomes really stiff and hard to use. But we want these wires to maintain that little wrap that we put in them. Megan, desperate to be in it.
Yeah, she is. Oh, Megan. You're gonna probably shop her out, right? Can you see me? I can see you. I'm gonna show up Photoshop. Hey! My lollipop! Really, dude? Really? My lollipop. Seriously, dude. That's it because you were licking it. Seriously, dude. This is so weird.
Sure. Alright, the last thing we got to do is
Poop!
screw in this ground.
Now the last thing to do is poop, Daddy. 7.
Alright. Shall we close her up?
7. 6.
Alright, well since I'm gonna touch up this these frets, I'm gonna pull this neck off. Well, I took a picture of it, but I don't know if I filmed it. The date on the date sticker on the inside of the pickguard said 2012. And we have no reason to believe that this guitar has been messed with. This looks like a factory sort of a factory special a little bit, because I think it's been painted black and then it was painted whatever this cream color is, because it's clearly black underneath and it had two different codes. Now the black might be a primer, I don't know, but I've never seen the inside of the body stickers like that with two stacked up, one white on top of the other like that. Which makes me believe that this started out as a black body for something else and ended up in this color for whatever reason. Ooh, that's a nice tight fit. Let's see what's in there. June 15th, 2015. Okay, that's good. March 21st. So the body was made in June. And the neck in March. By, oop, not our buddy. 75339. June. What does that say, June? Oh no, JM. Yeah, so that's March 21st, 2015. Alright, well, I hate to admit it, but I've recently started using 4/0 steel wool just to do a quick little touch-up polishes like this, and it works so good. So, just a little bit slower. Alright, it's time to tune her up, do a little setup work. I don't often film the setup work because, look, unless there's something really wrong, I find it hard to film setup work in a really meaningful way. So typically I tend to sort of just, you know, film whatever's interesting and then kind of do this off on my own. But with this one, I just wanted to check a couple of quick things just to see about no, she's got plenty of relief. Okay, that's good. Nick's got relief that it needs. So now I just need to organize these tools a bit better. But I know that this is my Stratocaster one because I painted it orange. I know this is my American Stratocaster one because I painted it orange. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to straighten all these out because somebody has gone here and tried to adjust the action by just adjusting one of the, so none of these are straight. Fuck's sakes. Okay, now I can tune it up. Alright, I'm not overly worried about being perfectly in tune, just nearly in tune. Nearly in tune so that I can that's good. Except this is the wrong one. This is the right one. Oh, that's 5, that's good. Well, that's 4, that's good. So the rest is setting the radius, which on this guitar seems to be 9.5. So let's see. Those need to come up. So once I've got both these set, then I just set the radius to, then I just set the rest of the heights to the radius. So that the string heights all follow the radius of the neck. Okay, let's see how that feels. Okay, we're good. We're good, we just have to set the pickup heights and check the intonation. That needs to come up a scratch. Holy fuck, the intonation's perfect. Perfect. Okay, she's done. Hot dog. Can't complain about that. Okay. Set up, shielded. Let's see if the shielding works.